there, early 2000s, it was just a whole forest, a few scattered houses. So there was always a snake. I was so traumatized, Aki. And then I thought it was, karma for always saying, wow, everything reminds me of him. Hi, we are Two Bodies, One Mic. And today's episode is very interesting because we're covering something that is true or not true, factual or mythical, whichever. We're going to debunk these stereotypes and myths. But before you get to that, my name is Tori Faye.
And my name is Kathomi, and yes, as you said, episode 18 is about folklores, the myths, the old wives' tales, the ones that had us all shivering mid-timbers. You know, like you would hear something you're being told by an old person, especially an old mama, and you're like, wow.
These people used to lie to us.
Scares you.
I think parents would lie to us unprovoked. And now when I'm grown up, I'm looking back and I'm thinking, what was the reason?
How did I believe that?
What was the reason, madam? But then now as a parent, I find myself doing it, and I realize it's so much easier than just telling the truth and just saying, no, don't do that. I need to create a villain, and it cannot be me, okay? Our relationship is already strained enough, okay? I'm already not the best friend, so I just can't afford to be the bad mom. So I find myself creating this imaginary villain so that my son does not do bad things. For example, when you watch TV close to the screen like this, I'm like, do you know you're gonna go blind? And who created this like that? If you watch your TV too close to the screen, your vision goes away. You become a blind man. And we used to be so scared
we
of
really
that.
did.
That nobody would ever sit. We used to have a chair that was next to the TV. No one would ever sit there. Hata ukiketi hapo unazima TV, usipoteze macho. And I find myself doing the same thing.
I think it was again because of the transition. There was a huge transition between going from not having TVs and power and all of these other things to now everyone having a TV, a colored TV, and it's all this new fascination. There's always weird stuff. It's the same narrative or the same headspace as microwaves cause radiation and cancer. Because it's new, we have to find conspiracy theories that are attached to it to make it this big thing that it really isn't, right? Yes, radiation does cause cancer, but microwaves do not expel enough radiation to give you cancer. Like, can you be quiet? So I think I completely understand that one. It's again folklore because of the fact that it's this new thing.
It's not scientifically proven. It's been debunked scientifically. And I remember when I had a toddler, as in doing things manually, warming food with water, warming the pudding and everything with water. Unaketu hapo ukikoroga na maji ndani ya sufuria because you don't want to put it in the microwave and risk your child having. Let
me tell you, and then you have to stew your water, you pima the heat through the elbow. I'm like, that child and your elbow, very different because your elbow
I feel like the elbow is very tough.
Exactly.
You want to say your tongue is less sensitive
than your elbow. In fact, even your pinky, some of these stories. Some of these stories you'll be giving us, it's lies upon lies upon lies. And speaking about the old ones that we still kind of up until now, you're not too sure how true it is. Throwing away your nail clippings. Yani, umekata kucha, umekata nywele, and even so far as to say sanitary towels, used sanitary towels. Ulikuwa unaambiwa you can't just throw that stuff anywhere.
You can't dispose it anyhow.
Ata okota ende akuroge. What are you gonna do now? What are you gonna do? Your hair will never grow again. Your nails will either grow too long and become talons or not grow at all.
Nyota yako inakamatwa.
Unawacha kuwa na heavy. And you're like, what? Okay, I get the importance of throwing you're disposing your sanitary products, especially in a sanitary way. You know, like there are bins specifically for these things. There are packagings that you can get that you make sure that out end up here. Imagine to a these takataka people, they come and collect alafu wakiinua hivi zote zinamwagikia. You know, some of these things are not right. So I understand the disposal of particular things that could be biohazardous. I understand disposing them in the correct way. Lakini kucha na nywele surely. Turi is over here telling me up until now, 2023 is the age of our Lord. What do you do?
I collect my finger clippings when I cut my fingernails, put them in a tissue, fold it nicely, and flush. You ain't gonna steal my shine, okay? Maybe.
What is that?
Nyota yangu hamwezi iba. And I feel like this was created by a wife who was just going through it with her husband. Have you ever been in the same room as a man when they're cutting their toenails?
Unasikianga ni kali to bullets.
You could be attacked, assassinated.
Gosh.
And also, as you're stepping into your feminine and you're becoming a woman and you're growing into adulthood and your body's coming to you, there are so many things that we were told about our bodies and how we should behave and how we should be new women. And some of them were literally nonsense. Because why would you tell me that, first of all, eating pineapples and, I don't know, very citrusy fruits will make your vagina juicier and tastier. And even people go to the extent of packing yogurt down there. Stop doing these things.
And garlic?
All your vagina needs is water. Full stop. All these other things, maybe yes, your diet could affect maybe the way you smell because maybe unakula nyama kutoka Monday hadi Sunday na hukunywi maji. I see how that could be an issue, okay? Down there might be a little bit foul. But to say that eating pineapples will make your vagina magically become sweeter, that is nonsense. Unless you're just on a diet of yogurt and pineapples for like 3 months. I don't know. Even that is not even sustainable, but that's a lie. It's a lie.
I wouldn't go so far as to say it's like a full-on lie, but it is not sound. It's not a solid thing that you go and tell someone. For you to have a sweet vagina or a pussy, you need to eat all these things. Me, I swear I'll never forget adding. So I think I got an infection, a UTI, things are itchy. And then I Googled home remedies. Nikaambiwa, take a clove of garlic, pierce it around piercing. Unakatevish.
And
then insert, not all the way, like the part which has been pierced. It's like the clove is like this thing. So like the part which has been pierced, you kind of like put it in just a little, not all the way, because you have to get it out.
Just the tip.
Because at some point you gotta get that shit out. Let me tell you, even sitting, because if you sit funny, katamezwa. So here I am, burning. Na chomek. Do you know how hot garlic actually is on skin? Ushaishika garlic na mkono hivi ukasikia venye mtu yuchomeka.
Garlic is already disgusting.
Now imagine the smell of that shit on you. Secondly, it burns. Like garlic actually hot. You're burning. Yeah? No, additional to that, because for some reason, I have gotten so many funny rumors. A person who was new in my life from Tanzania, right? Who had been brought into my life, this new hot chick. Hey, I'm just like, yeah, my God, I wouldn't remember this story. This babe tells me her mother makes these soaps, vaginal soaps. Inakwambia ukipaka, kila mtu anakwambia ajikimbiza pale. Anjikimbiza. So in my mind, I'm like, I don't think I want to do that. But she's like, jaribu tu. Mimi nani nikaoga, nikajipaka lile sabuni. Have I ever been in so much heat? I'm afraid. Have you ever been in so much pain you're afraid to pee? You are afraid.
What's that Asha song?
To pee?
Let it burn.
You are afraid to pee because the fire that is coming out of you.
Trauma response. You're not even drinking water.
Dehydration, because what is that? Fire. And then I went and told her, this shit is burning me. What is it made of?
It's now working.
Like, ikiwasha hivyo ndo yafanya kazi. Let let me tell you, me karibu nikalie besini ya maji baridi kona ice because I am burning. Listen, my vagina has gone through too much.
And speaking of vagina, you think it ends there? It even extends to institution of medicines. Because I remember when I was giving birth, I had the episiotomy where they cut into so that you don't tear
To allow.
completely. And as this doctor was sewing me up, and I remember being very uncomfortable about the whole thing. And this man, I'm already traumatized. I've just given birth. This is a 21-year-old who has just given birth, okay? This man told me, ebu kaa hivyo, kaa vizuri, nikushone vizuri, bwanako asende kutafuta side chick. And I remember in that moment, I felt so numb. I had an out-of-body experience, as in, I was no longer there. I was out of my body, looking at my body, looking at what was going going on at the moment. Because he, without telling me, gave me the husband, stitch, where it's like an extra stitch to make you extra tight, and did not tell me about it. So now that year, I can attest to you, it took me so long to ever have sex comfortably. That husband stitch, it doesn't make your vagina tighter. It doesn't do anything for you. Your vagina heals on its own. Your vagina comes back to itself on its own. It does not need that extra husband stitch. And let me tell you, I was in so much pain. You know how you have trauma at the thought of having sex? Because it's so painful, because he's just stitched things. And it took so long before sex was an enjoyable thing for me again. Almost an year. Almost that year, I can say I didn't get laid much because it was just painful. Gosh. Husband stitch. I feel like I should sue him. And then you know what? This man even hit on me after I had left hospital. I don't know how.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because I think he saw
he
I'm a
wanted to
very
experience the husband
vulnerable babe or something. So as ile aftercare, was like, oh, give me your phone, here is my number, if anything ever happens, blah blah blah, you could call me. And he beeped himself and saved the number. So now later on, I think he found me on Facebook. So now he'd always be commenting, oh, looking beautiful, long time, I'm around your area, can we meet,
He wanted to see what his work was there.
Trauma. Hey. Just because of an old wives' tale that I can make your vagina tighter.
And I remember reading the stories about FGM as well, female genital mutilation, and I'm just like, wow!
Your whole clitoris.
As in it's the way that they would break the Coca-Cola bottle. Sorry, not necessarily Coca-Cola, a glass bottle. Take the chembe the broken glass, and then just cut.
When I think of that special relationship, the special relationship between me and my clitoris, that's where joy comes from. So it's such a malicious thing for you to take that away from a woman, for you to say, I'm taking this away so that you do not become promiscuous, so that you stay pure. What are you talking about?
What do you people think?
That brings joy to a woman. That is a secret bean. Call it rose cocoa, whatever, but that is the special relationship between me and that girl.
Yani, a man can be so vindictive, so malicious, so horrible that only I can give you pleasure sexually. If it is not me, even you yourself, you're not allowed to. Do you know how?
Because most of us don't get pleasure from penetration.
Yes.
It's all about
it's the oral works and waterworks comes. So you're asking yourself, some bastard went and found his wife enjoying herself somewhere in a corner. Akasema,
we're not doing this.
Made it a traditional thing. As in, how is it possible that Bantus, while he passed this shit over, I think I was
going to it.
You know,
don't go into it.
Let's not start naming names. My God.
Yeah, but that's horrible.
The things the patriarchy has done to women and our vaginas. Wait, it's a lot.
Still on the vagina.
It's a lot.
Cabbage. cabbage. What do you mean cabbage makes me maji?
Kwanza, I'll never forget when you're in high school and you're asked, "Are you Kikuyu?" I'm like, "No, why?" It's like, nasikianga Kikuyu girls are very maji because they're always eating cabbage.
And what do you mean by maji?
What does that mean?
Always wet?
Because if you're all, that's a good thing.
That's a good thing. In my books, if
I
I'm wet,
need to be drip whapping.
that's good. But and I remember having this because me, especially when I cook, especially when it's like dengu, githeri, I'll always like
Throw
steam
cabbage. Yay,
I'll steam cabbage on the side, and that's a delicacy for me. So I remember being with this person who was like, si utakuwa maji, unapenda kula cabbage? What do you mean? Why is it a bad thing to be maji?
Now here I am in high school not eating cabbage, just ugali kavu. Because I don't want to be maji. I don't even know what that shit means.
Me want to be maji, or is it a bad thing?
I didn't know what that shit meant.
Not like the rebellion, but Connie, what are you guys looking for?
I think it's that like the friction of it all. Because men, sometimes y'all just want us to suffer. But they don't realize.
So when there's no
lubrication, there's
a lot of friction. So that works for you guys, huh?
So now I suffer. I'm not going to eat cabbage. Just for me to feel like I'm being assaulted every night. I was talking to my friend the other day, and she's like, she saw this guy, very hot, absolutely nice car. In fact, her first thing, Ilim clock, it was the car. She's driving a GLE Mercedes. Yani,
sponsor us.
Sponsor us, Mercedes.
We ride in your cars.
Thank you very much. However, akaona mikono, akasema, no, Darren. No, you in the GLE, can you go away? Have you ever seen someone's hands? They're so rough. You're imagining every time they touch you, you feel like you're being groped. You feel like you're being assaulted every single time.
Isn't that a nice thing?
Mikono sandpaper board.
Yeah, I want hands like, hardworking hands. A little bit of texture in it.
How is Roscoe going to survive? How is Roscoe going to survive looking like a chewed up toy?
It's a bit of texture. It's
a bit is fine. That level weight is looking. It's you. No.
That was a lot.
No. But when someone tells you something, they describe something to you, you feel it? Me, I felt that one.
Kwani had like miatoka kwa mikono?
Me, I don't know, but it's the way she retracted and recoiled mpaka me, I was like, oh,
sir, why are you driving a big car with such hands?
Hey, these things happen. Maybe he's started from the bottom, now he's here. Moving on. Because a lot of people do struggle a lot, and then eventually you make your money, and then you're driving these nice cars.
Use CeraVe lotion. Sponsor us.
La Roche-Posay.
CeraVe. Wow. Okay.
Sponsor this program. What's another one? For whatever reason, I think as we're winding up with Rose Coco, I'll mention the one about the babies, because I'm sure you were Googling that. But I'll mention the one about the peeing. You know how some of these things which I never really understood where the stories came from, but you would be told, after any form of the big O, after anybody has been anywhere near you,
after
penetratively, you need to go and sit down on the toilet and pee. And there's even a running joke where guys go like, there's a running joke, immediately after sex, and then there's a chick literally sitting on the toilet on her phone just waiting for the pee to come, because it's been drilled in your mind that if you do not pee after, you're going to get an infection. And I think the one you went that goes so far is it's like a form of contraception. So it's like you're getting rid of all this. That's not how the body works.
Peeing after sex is actually advised because it kind of washes away everything that's going on.
There's acidity that has been put in a basic place.
Yeah, but peeing after sex is not a contraceptive method because there are two holes. Do you know there are people who do not know that there's a difference between the urethra and the vagina and the anus? They just think we have two. As in, grown adults who are like, you see, after we have sex, we just pee and then, it's done with. We're not men. There's the urethra and then there's the vagina. And these are two different things.
Yeah.
Are we in the same room? So if I pee...
Just because they're in the same space.
After we have had...
Coitus.
Unprotected coitus, I will still get pregnant. Because...
When it was going through the urinary tract.
Please.
That's where there's the reproductive tract
Yo.
and your urinary tract. These are two different body parts, babes.
I had this conversation with like an over 30-year-old man. He was like, see, you just pee. And I was so shocked. And he became immediately very unattractive because I was like, wow.
How are you so stupid? That's not even dumb. That's just straight up stupid.
You have a daughter. What was that?
Miseducation.
It was an immediate ick. And I knew that I would never see them again. Because what the hell was that?
At that moment.
Hey, anyway. Another old wives' tale. Or
but who starts rumoring these rumors?
I don't know. I think somebody just says something and maybe they said it with a lot of confidence.
Conviction,
like how sometimes you lie to me with a lot of confidence.
Wow, calling me out, are you?
And I believe it. Kathomi,
you never know.
That with a lot of confidence and tell you something. And me, because I'm a more girl, I'm like, you know what? That sounds right.
It tracks.
And then I will go forth and tell somebody the same thing as fact. I'm like, did you know? So I feel like, that's something that happens. And if it goes on for a long time and nobody ever
then it
questions it,
it
become facts.
God damn.
Ama ati, if you're pregnant and you're carrying your pregnancy high,
those pregnancy was so many.
That's a baby girl. If you're carrying your pregnancy low, that's a boy. Let me tell you, Kiriniramba, I don't know how to pronounce that word, but let me tell you, I was shocked. Because the whole time, I didn't want to do the whole check for gender thingy. I wanted to be surprised. And even when I did the first initial scan, he was like, it's a girl, blah, 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 blah. And me, I stood
beside her.
That was what I believed. Instead of going for more scans and asking during the scans, check the gender again. Please check the gender until your last scan. Me, I believed the first one. Uko, when the months were starting. So me, the whole time, I'm thinking,
it's a girl.
I'm having a girl. Let me tell you, I was shocked. He came out a boy. I remember trying to fight that doctor. But then me and that doctor have history. I remember being like, where's my daughter? So, when my switch was taught.
Excuse me.
I was having a girl.
We had an agreement here.
Her name was Chloe. We had picked out names, clothes, and everything. So now here I am, going home with a boy dressed in pink. My son was dressed in pink for like 3 months straight. Everything from bassinet to his cups, everything was pink.
Oh my God.
And I was so angry, but at the same time, it was such an inconvenience because now we had to start looking for a new name.
Yeah.
And it felt so rushed. Because now I went home with a baby without a name.
Without a name.
Yeah.
Nameless.
It was like,
it
would have been Chloe.
Wait, but you could also make it a Chloex, the way people make names, male names feminine and feminine names male. For example, right now on Love is Blind, there is Izzy. I just started, don't ruin it for me. Episode 1, there's a guy named Izzy and a girl named Johnny. And Izzy likes Johnny.
Yeah.
Now imagine, you're like, go say hi to Johnny. Who are you going to say hi to? See, it's the guy.
The Mentalist. He was
The
called
Izzy.
Jane.
I'm like, why are you calling your children Alex? Alex is an old girl.
Stop it.
Michael.
As a
Why
parent,
is a girl named Michael?
you're not being unique. Just being dumb. And say, they're going to stand out. Somebody will think it's a girl and then surprise, it's a boy. No.
Brianna. I'm like, why? Where is the creativity, my people?
You're just setting up your child to be bullied.
Bullied. What are we doing? And speaking of the pregnancy ones, because there's so many pregnancy folklore, old wives' tales. That black line, what's it called?
iko na jina.
Ehe.
The black line.
The black line that, yeah. Apparently, there's where, in places where it's a boy, it will either come from the top and the other ones do from the bottom. Which is which? I remember there was something like that about knowing whether it's the gender of the child. There were so many.
Oh my God.
With regard
What do you
to
mean
pregnancy.
when it comes from the top or from the bottom? See, they all come from down
No,
here.
but like it goes high. Like there's some that go all super, super high. I hear one of them. Let's just Google that really quickly. What's that line called? Line on
Pregnancy line.
Stomach. I'm just gonna write line on stomach. Wow, the creativity. The myth is that if it's called the linea nigra. Linea nigra. L-I-N-E-A.
Oh, the racism.
Linea nigra. No? So,
even if you put it in Latin, it's still racist.
It's racist.
The line of blackness,
The line of blackness. It is exactly that. It says, if it extends from below the belly button down, like from here down, you may be having a girl. If it extends all the way below the rib cage, like ukujusasa,
it's a boy.
It's a boy.
Yeah. I should have listened because mine was all
All the way. Another one is the one for heartburn. There's so many ones. There's so many pregnancy folklore. What was it?
If you have severe heartburn, your child will be very hairy, and I really want to believe that. But at the same time, it doesn't make sense to do that because when you're pregnant, the bigger you get, you're making room for your child, your organs are pushed up. So even if you were eating before 4 chapatis, when you're pregnant, you can't even eat more than 1 because your stomach gets full very fast. It's just squished up there, as in your stomach is over here. Because, all your organs are just squished to make room for this child. So obviously you're going to have a lot of heartburn, a lot of acidity, because everything is just squished up there.
Yeah.
I saw a girl who was pregnant and her ribs had been pushed so far back that she needed support. You know the boob tape?
Oh,
so now she had to apply boob tape and lift up to have relief on her. Okay, pregnancy, yeah.
Pregnancy is just a ghetto.
It's the ghetto.
Wow.
And another thing, when we were growing up, we would be scared if you swallow the seeds of watermelons, of any fruit, basically.
Papaya.
That it would grow in your stomach. Aki, my uncle, if you can see this, you gave me the fright of my life. I remember that day, it was an afternoon. An afternoon, we were eating, watermelon, like the Kikuyus we are. Cameron after lunch, to enjoy. And then I swallowed the seeds because to me, it didn't affect me. But my brother was busy removing them one by one. He's a picky eater. Anyway, me, I ate my watermelon whole. My uncle was like, do you know? Hizo tena zende kwa stomach yako alafu zigrow into a tree itokee kwa mdomo.
Instant panic.
I cried so hard, I slept. I slept at 2 p.m. Every day I'm just panicking. Naamka tu asubuhi, waiting for the day.
Waiting for the leaves.
The leaves will come out of my mouth. That was Kai. Why would you do that to a child? Did you experience juice cola?
Wait, what's juice cola?
Juice cola, the packet with the powder, you put it in water. Exactly. So I think as a way to have us not buy juice, because it was cheap. All of 5 bob. Exactly. So for us not to buy it, I think it was my mother. She's very malicious, that one. She said that this juice cola we are drinking, it will go and color our intestines. So now kama ulikunywa ya red, ya blue. Intestines zako zinakaa tu rainbow. Hapa ulikunywa red, blue, orange. And I remember being so freaked out that I might have colored intestines.
These parents, I think they did too much.
Your children the truth.
They did too much. What was the other one? The thing with the eyelids. Apparently, when we were kids, we used to do funny things. You're always crossing parts of your body. But the eyes was the one.
Those demon children who put their
They look like you look at each other like, Allah. First of all, how are your pupils looking at each other?
Not
you
even,
don't feel the
and the ones who would flip
the ones
their
that
eyelid.
would flip in a inside out. You're
like a demon. Yo,
what is this?
I hated kids who used to
What
do
is
that.
this?
That was so freaky.
But it was also such a fashionable thing because it was like a cool talent, right? It's the same thing as like when what's his name, the Undertaker would roll his eyes all the way to the back of his head, like so all you'd see was the white part, and so all of us were trying to do that shit. Yo, until you are told, endelea hivyo tu, siku moja zitakataa kurudi, zitakwamia huko nyuma.
Ama when you do this, you're calling a snake. I was so freaked out because when we hammered, tulihamia Gishagi. So now where we built, I think it was like a house of snakes or something.
Oh my God.
And it was so forested. Actually, before that, Squeezy, at least kuna manyumba, kuna barabara. But when we moved there, early 2000s, it was just a whole forest, a few scattered houses. So there was always a snake. I was so traumatized, Aki. And then I thought it was, karma for always saying, wow, everything reminds me of him.
Oh my God.
Anyway,
well
yeah, but that's a lie. What do you mean that attracts snakes? And and it just played into the coincidence of what was happening at that time. So I really believed that was true.
Totally. Snakes. Half my nightmares. In fact, I feel like 90% of my nightmares are just snakes.
And now we've talked about it, so it'll probably
it's definitely coming up
on
in
our
a
Instagram.
It will Instagram, by the way, social media.
You'll just be chilling, unaingia to explore nakutana nayo. Why?
And even worse, if it doesn't pop up and it pops up, it doesn't pop up when it pops up on hers.
I will
this
send
bitch
it.
is gonna send it to me. So thank you very much.
Why would I be traumatized?
Thank
you.
Sharing the trauma. But I think there's so many others which we may have not mentioned.
Earlier this year, there was this whole trend going on where at the beginning of the year, December 31st, I know some of you did it. You ate 12 grapes under a table and then took a suitcase and ran out of your house because we were manifesting abundance and traveling around the world. Where have you gone, Wanjiro? Where have you gone? It is now October.
It's the way I still have cinnamon sticks on top of my bathroom door. They told you take a cinnamon stick, walk in, walk out, walk in, walk out. Hey. My God.
As in, I hate that became a whole TikTok trend. And it's basically witchcraft. Because what were we doing? Because me, remember, there were grapes on top, as in Liam really likes grapes. So I remember looking at those grapes and thinking, do I do this trend? What's the worst that could happen? So there I was, trying to stuff 12 grapes while under the table. As in, if there's somebody who watches me, if my FBI agent, has access
do you
to my
stuff them in
living
your
room.
stomach? Was it like you were stuffing? No. Sorry, where were you stuffing them?
In your mouth. So you're eating 12 grapes in that countdown before the last year and the new year. Kwa hiyo countdown. Yes. Kwa hivyo ilifika 11:59. Nikachukua grapes, nikazima stima in case anybody was watching. Nikaingia chini ya meza. Alafu when the clock strikes, you go outside with your suitcase.
How did I miss that trend?
You can look it up. 12 grapes and that
Same thing as, I think it's in the same energy as you start to scratch yourself.
Your palm.
You start to scratch your palm. You're like, ay, ndapata pesa, ili pesa. Kanika doji, kuni kabisa. So it's almost like you're trying to constantly find yourself itching. But I want to know, have you ever found money after scratching your palm?
No.
Has anyone ever found money?
As in, your palm was itchy.
It was itchy. You scratched it,
like, wow,
and then you money.
I won the lottery.
Lottery, you collected money on the ground. Somebody suddenly sent you money. Let us know.
Me, I remember collecting money from the ground. We were coming from school with my brother. Somebody had angusha like a bunda of notes, very crisp. And I collected them and I already started planning what was going to happen. But my brother, religious one, akasema, kana kama imerogwa, huogopi kurogwa. Do you know this motherfucker made me put it back? And to date, I still regret it.
At a 5 bob, sometimes you just collect money randomly, but then that instinct of, What
Zile
if it's
chips
rogward?
ningenunua.
What
Zile chips
if-
ningenunua.
What if this was someone trying to trap my spirit? The same
Because at
nonsense
that age,
as
there's nothing substantial you can buy. Ni
nothing.
chips too.
And what about that other thing where like someone will walk on the same path, like watatembea on top of your steps, your footprints, like to steal your shine, to steal your star, your grace, and your favor and shit like that. Let me tell you, being a Christian is doing too much.
Nobody will ever walk behind me again. Is that true?
Apparently. I was being told by the Tanzanians specifically. Because she had an experience.
Me, it's another one. You see how somebody, you're talking to somebody, and then they put your hands over you. So somebody told me, never let somebody put your hands over. Always be the one whose hands are on top of them.
Why?
Yes. They are asserting authority and dominance over you.
Literally, Christianity sometimes is a lot. It's really a lot. Me, it's the way this babe told me that she went to UMC2. The story was wild. Yes, she went. They went to now this dense forest. She wasn't just alone because apparently somebody had stolen her star.
Wow, no time maybe.
And then she started going a little crazy, like her. She'd actually started going a little crazy, like crazy. So the parents took her very quickly. And then they had to dig a hole, lay in the hole for the whole night, and then at 4 o'clock in the morning, wake up and run in the pitch darkness in Tanzania. Ran until the house what?
You know, I try not to believe these things. I really, really try not to believe, because I feel like you give power to these things if you believe in them. If you don't believe in them, they don't really affect you. That's what I believe. But then I kind of noticed that there's usually some truth in some of these things.
There's some freaky shit.
Because I realized that person, like, they only reach out to me, they only text me and call me when they're about to drop a project. I even went back and looked at the timelines. I was like, this person is trying to steal my stuff.
And you laugh about it, but really, truly,
somebody who only calls you and tries to have contact with you when they're about to do something. And I looked at the time and I was like, wow.
Somebody you crossed paths with in your life, you used to have all this good luck, kismats, all this, but you crossed paths with this person and immediately your luck, it went to the ground.
Or giving money to beggars on the street.
Oh, that one especially, I hear, not just beggars, but don't give money to anyone physically. Like, someone is telling you, oh, she does, you give them cash. Apparently, you should never ever give cash to anyone in need because it attracts that energy, right? If someone is saying, oh, Madam Nikonanja, buy them actual food.
Yep.
Right? Buy them the actual thing that they're looking for, but never really, send them actual cash. But now what do you do with all your relatives?
Because all of this information.
I
didn't see that coming. But with all these theories flying around, and some of them really sound ridiculous, but sometimes you're always like, it's safer than, not to think of it as a cautionary tale, and then something happens to you. So better safe than sorry.
But like, is it like an energy thing that you attract what you believe?
True.
And therefore, if you don't believe it, then it doesn't matter if you attract it or not. It's the same thing as the whole narrative between like atheism and Christianity and agnostic people. Like, atheists are just like completely on the other side of like, he doesn't exist. Agnostics, wanakuanga hapa katikati. Tunakuanga hapa tumechill. Tunasema, kama yuko, it's all good. Kama hayuko, it's all good. And then now there's people who now believe.
And as somebody who grew up in a very Christian
it's
background,
so difficult to get yourself out of that.
Not even out of that, it becomes difficult for you to believe in the universe can give you something if you think about it hard enough, if you're manifesting. It feels like witchcraft.
It really does.
But at the same time, believing in somebody you have
never seen, never touched.
Exactly. So there's usually that conflict. Anytime I find myself praying, I start wondering, am I praying to God or am I praying to the universe?
Are you meditating? Because technically praying is talking to yourself and telling yourself the shit that needs to be done.
So I'm usually so conflicted. When I want something, I'm like, who am I asking it from? Where is this energy coming from? Is it coming from God? Is it coming from the universe? Is it coming from
some other place?
What's happening?
Another thing for me is I started, when you start to like, again, what you believe really does come to fruition. Because I remember at some point I was like paranoid as fuck. I'm just constantly paranoid because every time I would start praying continuously and consistently, my shit would go down so bad. I pray consistently for like 2 weeks, bro. Sleep paralysis, streak K. As in, I'm just constantly stressed.
I've gotten shivers. Yo, stop it.
Do you get what I'm saying? But that was just a me thing. That wasn't like an everybody thing. And then I realized when I stopped, I will sleep through the night for hours. So is it like a thing of, is it simply because I was feeding my mind with all of this negativity and all of this scary shit, and hence I am praying, and then I'm attracting that energy of all these scary things now coming back subconsciously and now causing me not to sleep and whatever. But the moment that I don't pray, I'm not worrying about all of these fears and all of this scary shit that's gonna happen, that my mind is clear, and therefore subconsciously I'm not afraid, and therefore I do not have these weird manifestations in my dreams. Do you get what I'm saying?
You know what? I didn't even realize we were doing this in October, which is Halloween month. So,
oh God,
happy spooky episode!
Thank you for that.
I think we should be done.
It's going to be done. It's going to be out on the 13th.
Oh God, I am so sorry.
Which is a February.
Anyway, tell us in the comment section.
It's 2 weeks from now.
Tell us in the comment section.
What are your old wives' tales?
I feel spooked because we started with old wife tales and then
now
we
we
got
are in religion,
into superstition and
God.
witchcraft. But we always ask you this question:
Did you like that?
Ooh.